What's going on, guys? Hit pause here for the next part of this series, and in this part we are going to fix the ragdoll of the ant, and that's pretty much all I really want to do. I'm just taking a look at him real quick here. Okay, so essentially what I want to do is I need to add bodies to these other pieces. Okay. And now I need to make sure that they are a good size and a good location. Right in between the bone. Should terminate there like that. Okay, you'll notice that my legs are very straight here, which is actually going to come in handy for me. Well, because what it'll afford me is that because none of these are already touching, I can make it so that the legs will now collide with each other, and they shouldn't fight, okay, because their pivots are separated. So it should be okay, I think, and it'll be good, hopefully. Let's make it just a hair thinner. This one kind of has to just cross over that segment. I mean, I could do one here, and one here, but that's just not worth it. No, I mean, it wouldn't. Yeah, it would hurt, you know, I mean, performance. I don't know how much, but it'll hurt performance. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to copy this, and then I think I can do this. Well, I know I can do, well, can I do them all at once? New body cylinder. Okay, and then I think I can grab them all like this and then paste. That's fairly quick. Okay, let's copy this guy real quick and then just get all of the ones, and we'll paste that. Okay, let's add the rest of the bodies to the third legs. Okay, I'm holding control to get them, and we'll go new body cylinder. Okay, and we'll grab this one, control C, and then we'll have to run that selection again. But we can look at which one's the farthest one out on the right, and it's easy to get. And that should do it for the bodies. I haven't done the collision yet. I'm just shaping everything right now so that it can be as close to him as possible. So kind of thinking something like that. Now you can actually, if you go to modes here, go to collision render mode solid, can help you determine much easier you know, where your shapes are intersecting and how they're fitting around the mesh. Now in this case I think it's it's perfectly fine to go a little bit larger than the actual mesh, because you know, it's kind of up to you, I guess, whether or not you would prefer him to sink into the ground and objects a little bit, or stay away from them a little bit, or try to match it perfectly if you can. See these right here, you know, I'm actually probably gonna just stick with what's on there, because it'll keep them away from stuff, and they're very thin and pointy and stuff, so they'll disappear into stuff pretty easily. Now I'm not doing these at all, because I don't think that it's really necessary. So what we're gonna do now is basically get all the legs. Actually, let's take a quick gander at what's going on with the collision. So whenever you pick a single body here, anything it collides with will be purple. Anything that it does not collide with will be gray. The main important thing is that two bodies which are connected to each other by a constraint, which like these two, cannot be interpenetrating. Okay, here, because what you get is a fighting problem. you get physics trying to eject these objects from each other, pushing them away, and you get a constraint trying to pull it back. So the behavior is just vibration, and the model starts dancing all over the screen and breaking apart, and all of his bones go in every direction. The reason for that is these two colliding. It's not always that bad, but it almost always leads to the object twitching around on the ground some. So try to make sure that they don't collide. So the way to set collisions up, I'm going to set these two to actually collide. So I'm going to select this one, and all you do is just go collision on. And now you'll see that when I click this one, this guy stays purple. When I click this one, that guy stays purple. Now to turn it off, I just hit collision off between those two bodies. Now if I select all three of these things and say collision off, what will happen is this won't collide with either, but this won't collide with either, and neither will this. So I no longer collide butt to head, which in most cases probably won't actually happen, and it's probably okay, but it doesn't hurt to have them collide. And you can see that between the legs, the only thing I don't collide with is the thing that I'm interpenetrating, right? Body, the next leg. This is important. This is a hugely important part of the setup. You have to make sure that it doesn't collide with everything. I mean, you can kind of tell. It's the thing to look for if you simulate and your ragdoll just totally spazzes out. But as you can see here, mine's actually kind of fine. It's not glitchy. It's going to be a little shaky at these kinds of funny angles, but eventually it goes to sleep. So it's really not going to be a lot of work for me. But if yours is freaking out, check that. Make sure that two bodies that are touching, that are anchored together with a constraint, don't collide. Rule number one, literally. Okay, so let's work on the constraints now. So we'll go to constraint mode. And essentially, these guys up here, I only have to really set up one leg. These guys up here should be ball jointed. However, the one thing I don't want them to do is really twist in the green. And that is this one here. So I'm just going to shut that all the way to 0. Okay. And you might think, oh, twist limit, well, why don't you just lock it? You know, it's kind of the same thing. But when you do it to 0, you kind of get the soft limit playing in there. And we definitely do not, we want kind of a lot of motion there, but we do not want a lot of this motion here. They shouldn't be able to fold too much, and also if it is going to, I want to rotate it so that the front legs kind of want to favor going more towards the front, you know. So we'll try that. Let me copy that, and then I'll do this one, and I'll paste that. And see, it even took the rotation for me. So we have a fairly decent amount of up and down. Remember, you can notice that this is up here. This is actually the amount of travel that the blue axis is going to get. So when this blue axis tilts right here, this line, it's going to hit these sides and get stopped. Same thing with the red. So at this point, it's not going to really be able to rotate backwards too much. It's only going to be able to swing forwards. And one of the things you want to make sure of is that whatever color this fan is, you want to make sure that that matches up the color of the line that's going through it, because sometimes it can get just all kinds of weird and broken, and you have to rotate it into the right orientation or it won't behave. And when that happens, it's actually very frustrating, and I'm glad it didn't happen to me, but at the same time I can't use the example to help you, so that's unfortunate. So this one's going to be allowed to go just evenly forward and backwards. I'm not going to rotate it, and I don't really know what I used for the blue here. 18. So we'll copy that. We'll just go 18. Okay, so we can copy that guy, and then we'll get both of these. Oh wait, nope. It's B1, LB1 and RB1, those two. So those are the ones I just edited, and then I'll take these two and paste, because I might as well take it. But the only thing I'm going to do here is rotate it so that the rear legs want to favor that direction. Okay, and paste that. Alright, now his buttocks should not have, I don't think, any twist in it either. It should actually have a fair bit of blue movement, but not too much. And again, just not too much here. I just kind of want this to be able to flip-flop a little bit. I don't want it twisting. And I'm probably going to do something fairly similar for the head. I'm going to let the head twist just a couple degrees. I'm going to let him look left and right a fair amount, like 15 or so. Whatever. By the way, 16 degrees is the angle from this point to this point, not the entire fan. It's 16 degrees in both directions. Okay. So if you want him to be able to go 180 or 360, you just do 180. If you want him to be able to freely rotate 180, you give him 90. So it's 90 in both directions. Just think of it that way. And then the up and down. I don't know how my camera moved away from me. Probably equal up and down, and not too much. Now the mandibulars here, absolutely don't want any in the green. You can no longer slider when you have multiple selected, but you can still type in. And then nothing in the blue. I only hit the lock so I can make sure blue disappeared. And then these should probably go something like that, because you can see that they'll probably come to just about touching. Okay. And now these guys, all of these can pretty much stay the same. Why it started out as free, I guess it's because I added these bodies afterwards. Okay, so these guys definitely just want blue. Oops, undo that. I tried to hold right click so that I could move my camera and then move in with WASD, and I did that in here, and that causes a whole bunch of weird shit to happen when you hold right click and move on that thing, so avoid it. Okay, so I'm trying to think about how much. So this is going to allow for an equal amount of bend that way, which will let the leg bend upwards, and we don't want that. So I think I'm going to leave it at 90, but I'm just going to rotate it like that. So from its current position, it can only go 90 degrees, which will only bend the leg down to this blue line. So that's pretty good, I think. And I'm actually just going to copy that. As far as I know, I don't know of any way to Control Alt, Control Shift. No, you can't Control Alt and drag a box around stuff. So to get all the rest of them, I think it's always best to go to this list. So basically, I just need the 2s and the 3s. And boom. Now, some of these are Dickersoned, and this one in particular is actually backwards entirely. So I need to make it go like that, and then I should actually be able to do that to both of these. Okay, this one may be the same. Yeah. In fact, I can actually select them all, or not. Okay, well, in fact, nothing. Oh, well, maybe that would work. It's just not rotating at all. Every once in a while I get a gimbal lock from certain angles, and I don't know why. Let me try doing more than one again, because that should have worked. Yeah, it did work. Okay. Because you can see the axis is the other direction here. They're down here, they're up here. That's actually my, well, you know what, I'm not gonna say it's my fault. It's CatRig's fault, but it happened, so there we go. Let's simulate. He's a little jittery. While you're, okay, so here's the controls for this. It's fairly simple. So normally you can right click and look around in WASD. Okay, while you're holding right click. WASD does not do anything while you're not holding right click. So to to nudge him, you can hold Control and then click him. Okay. If you want that to be stronger, you can set that here on the fly, and that will be much stronger. To grab him, you right click and hold, and now I can move him around. Now to move him forwards and backwards, use the mouse wheel. It is in kind of jumpy increments, but it will come towards you, and that's it. That's all you got to do. So essentially you just throw it around, pick it up, let it, you know, give it a try here and there. It's already okay. It's a little jittery though when it lands. Here, it's and then it stops. The sleep order on it is good. The posing on it is good. Look, it's even bending his mandible. You know, it works good. That's a cool pose for me. You know, here. You know, you can shake his little mandibles, right? So it's working okay, and fortunately, I mean, well, unfortunately for the lesson here, it worked out too well. I think that nothing really went wrong too much. I mean, it is kind of because we set everything up correctly in the beginning. We made sure that the collisions were okay. So I'm actually fairly happy with it, but there is a little bit more that we can do to stabilize them. So let's try and do that. So to get them stable, you actually do it in body mode, and essentially, what we want to do is just show the bones with the bodies. And I'm not going to worry about the root. And I'm going to come here and just get them all. And then when you have them all, we can now fiddle with this kind of stuff here. Okay. So angular damping can actually be fairly high and can help a little bit. It's not going to help everywhere. As you can see, he's still jittery, but he does fall asleep. You could always talk it up to, oh, he's spazzing because he's having a seizure, because he's just dying, you know, and these are nerve endings are firing off. You can justify it however you want if you want to, but I don't like it, so I'm going to try to fix it. I don't know if I can. I might have to adjust some of the collisions and things, or the amount that they can rotate, just get them to not hit those posts. Linear damping is a strange one. I'll just put that real high so you can see what it does. It's actually kind of cool. It's practically like doing no gravity. You know? Like I said, I think it's pretty cool. I actually like playing with a model like this because it kind of gives me a chance to really test the way these joints are working, you know? Grab this one. What happens if I pull him that way? You know? So, you know, you could do crazy amounts of weird stuff if you wanted to. I mean, like even goes back into a natural pose. This almost feels like a creature in like a tank. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those creepy ass freaking abortion experiments. And like imagine if like there was something, you know, it kind of reminds me of the face hugger in the glass inside of Aliens. But I mean, the movement here is actually just so fluid. It's just so relaxing. Like, I don't know why I do this to all my Ragdoll models, but I love doing it. It's so cool. Sorry, buddy, I didn't mean to break your neck. Alright. So yeah, I mean, there's linear damping, and you can see it's obviously not going to spaz out now. But what about if we put like a little bit of a lower value in there? See, he's a little floaty, right? It's a little floaty, and I don't like it. And is it stopping him from jerking around on the ground? Debatable at this point. Still debatable. Yeah, I don't like it either way. So, I mean, I think it's supposed to be like 0.1, but I'm just going to play with it for a second, see if it helps. That. I'm wondering if I can not rock a collision between these two, if it'll actually help. But, get it? If I do that, I have to move the butt so that it does not start out colliding. It can't start out colliding. It has to be, I have to make sure that it can escape that. And I don't think, you know, it's wise to do something like where you try to get it as close as possible. It's clearly not touching, and it's too close. So let's see if that even has any kind of effect. Not really. It's not helping. Okay. Are you on that leg or this leg? Let's give the first legs a little more freedom. We gotta go to constraint mode. Okay. I think I want to give them more blue freedom. Sounds like a tampon commercial. Okay, I'm holding control and I'm clicking. Why is that doing that? Okay, so we'll give him 25. Because part of it is the legs are hitting their constraint point before the body can hit the ground. Okay, sorry about the interruption there. But yeah, what I think might be contributing, I don't know if it's the cause, but is that the legs are hitting their constraint point before the body can hit the ground, thus causing stress along the axis constraints before any of these heavier pieces, because keep in mind that the size of the body does in fact influence its mass. So if you have a really tiny one, it'll have an effect on it, but not as much as like a larger one. That does actually hold true, I believe. Okay, so as you can see, I still can't really. It might just be the way that the bones are. What's on the ground here? Okay. I'm trying to think, because he does vibrate for a few seconds, and I'd like to avoid it. See, now it's kind of a strange combination of forces for the computer to handle, you know. It's getting hooked up on this one three-way joint thing, you know. It can be kind of strange. But let's just increase that a little bit more, and let's see if that even helps. I'm just going to go 45. I'm just going to let him go crazy. Not really. He sleeps a little bit faster. That's like a human death pose. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna try something a little silly, just for fun here for a second. Let me get his butt. It should be this one. Abdomen to thorax to abdomen. That's fine. You can say disable collision between the bodies joined by this constraint. That actually, I think, takes over. Actually, I'm gonna try that just for shits. Let's see if that has any effect, or maybe it's even gonna make it break. Kinda seems to have no effect. I mean, they already aren't colliding, so I already took care of that manually. But maybe that checkbox actually just does that for you, and you don't have to worry about doing them manually. I still like to check. He's still got that shake. And this time, he's in whatever pose he's in, ain't letting him go to sleep. And he'll do this in the game, absolutely. Okay. Let's take all our 2s and 3s. And for fun, that might have helped. I mean, it didn't help, but I don't know. He kind of takes on a fairly interesting pose no matter which way I drop him. Of course, we get this kind of thing here where we now are allowing that to flip back on itself. So that's just not going to happen. But you know what? I'll give it 60. I'll meet it somewhere in the vicinity of the middle. Well, you know what? Let's save it and let's just go test it in here. He was still in correction mode, I think. Yep, he was still in correction mode. I gotta solve that. That's not bad. You're not jittering. He'll disappear soon. Here, let's check out a couple of them. Oh, well, he didn't do too well. He didn't do too well. Hang on. Let's have a little bit more fun with it. Oh, shit. I can sprint backwards. It's not going to stay in the game. Oh, perfect. Oh, if only the stick was in his head. I think I like it. I think I like it. I'm gonna die. It's raining ants. Some of these. Hang on. Let me do this real quick. This is gonna lag. Some figures. Yeah, they got the bodies on them. Are those just too thin? Because they're in a lot of cases they're. Oh shit! I can't move. Son of a bitch! I'm stuck in console, and I don't even get to see. Oh yeah, I do. Oh, I guess it's working on most of them. Yeah, they keep disappearing. I gotta do a death transition on their material, by the way. I'm gonna do it too. I think he went all the way through. I mean, it really is passing through the ground a lot, and I kind of don't like that. So maybe I'll thicken them up just a hair. Granted, they're getting blown around, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're getting launched. So let me do something like this. So he didn't get launched. He's not too bad. It's getting a little laggy because I got 400 friggin' ants everywhere, but let's just massacre them. Later days, dudes. It's fun. Okay, yeah, I think really the only thing I may want to do is just sticking these up just a hair so that maybe they have a little bit less tendency to go through the ground. And it really is these guys. So let's just... Actually, hell, I could probably do them all at once, I think. Is that even going to work? Yeah, that'll work. And I think I can just go like this. So I'll make them just as thick as the other legs. Okay, I think it's working all right. Let's get out of Lego mode here. I'll just do like 60 of them. Yeah, that ain't bad. That ain't a bad pose at all. He's stable. I gotta get those these antennae are going. The only way I know to stop that would be to, shit. I'd actually... Well, why are you mad at me? It's kind of what you get, but look, he's all looking at him. He's all, bro, you shouldn't have pissed him off. I still think it would be creepy if the other ants came and dragged the dead ones away. But... Alright, well, let's blow a few of them up. Let's just make sure they don't go through the ground. They should put the cheese down when they get blown up. Love it. Alright, he got launched over here pretty high. Yeah, none of those are through the ground. That one is. And then another disappeared. I still don't have a headshot on him. Oh, he was in correction mode. Maybe maybe if they're holding food, they shouldn't correct. And maybe only one of the two should correct, because right now they both correct. If they hit each other, see? They both hit each other and they both turned around. Well, actually in this case I think they both lost their cheese. But if two ants collide, I believe that the two of them both turn around. So here we're going to get collision right here? No. Yep, we did. And see how they both flipped a bitch? I think in this case, it should just be one of them. How the hell do you determine that? Oh, and I'm wondering... This has been driving me absolutely batshit. Well, I didn't get any this time. But yeah, they've been spawning under the ground like crazy. So yeah, how am I going to just make only one of them do it? Because they'll have to communicate to the other one. Oh shit, they're killing him. Why? Shit. Dick. Get off me. I don't actually know what's causing him to attack. I don't have code for when they bump into you for them to attack you. I don't know how that happened. There's no cheese left here, so they're all going for the distance. They're going the distance. They're going for speed. None of them are alone, really. So this song doesn't work. The Ragdoll's good enough, I think. So I guess I'm going to terminate the video here, because that just problem solved. Like I said, it would be kind of fun to put the 400 in there. I mean, it works. But it's stressing out the system, so I don't really want to do that too often. So anyways, this is Hip Hop signing off. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.